Barker, Harper, you know about the settlement, of course, that this just took place with BP. And a full disclosure, we were one of the firms that negotiated, involved in negotiating all that. As I look at your film, the thing that struck me the most is you got it right. I mean, it's amazing how many times people have looked at this story and not gotten the connections, not understood that, you know, A connects to B and follow the money to C, and then you have the story. You've done a good job with that. What's the biggest surprise you had putting the BP horrendous conduct story together?
Well, BP in general, it's just the history behind it. The fact that they have their hands and their pieces in so many different disasters throughout history, and they've had so many big issues that, you know, I can't believe that this corporation was allowed to continue on and be so involved with our government and end up, you know, today almost destroying our Gulf Coast.
Mm. You know, I'm sitting in front of me, and I got this from some of the stuff that I did in just looking at this case. I've got I've got about 12 legal size pages from top to bottom, all the way just prior even to 1990, going item by item about the BP fines, the misconduct, the criminal conduct, the people they've killed on the job. It's almost endless, isn't it? And they want us to believe that they got it right. Now this is like a wake up call. What do you think?
Well, you know, a wake up call would have been when they had people, you know, died up in Alaska. You know, how many, you know, they had several workers die up there. A wake up call would have been when they had people die at their Texas City refinery plant. So, you know, and then they have more people die on this, and that just got washed away with this, you know, with the fact that just the environmental destruction alone. But, you know, let's be honest. I mean, they killed 11 more people on this rig, and you know, it just got pushed aside.
Well, I mean, don't you get the impression that, I mean, here you've got our president who ran as an environmentalist, and he said he's going to change the way the oil business does business. Have they really done that? I mean, tell me, because I've missed it. I got to tell you, I missed it. The last time I saw, he opened up about an area of landmass for drilling about the size of West Virginia, to where people, I mean, it's huge. And this is the guy who said, yeah, I'm going to change the way we do business. We can do this safely. Then he said, I'm going to change the way the safety features. Nothing has been done. I mean, is that kind of the way that you look at this thing right now?
Well, the way I look at it is that if you look at every politician, you know, that has made it up into the, you know, into the White House, most all of them are backed by major oil companies. They have major oil donations of some kind. Oil and gas is a massively profitable business, and you know, when it comes time to make decisions, you know, you got a guy that's put a couple $1 million into your campaign, and he says, I really don't want you to vote that way. I really don't want you to really enforce green energy anymore or do anything like that, because that'll take away from my business. And, you know, I'll just take back my money if that's how it's going to be. And tell me
how you put your film together. Give me the rundown on how it started. I mean, because I've watched it. I mean, look, it's very comprehensive. It really does get the backstories that most people that tried to take a look at this, they just don't capture the backstories. Tell me how you did it.
Well, it started because I was sitting around deciding that was arguing with Alicia Mims, the writer, and she said, you know, we should make a documentary about this. So I got with Harper, and we got on the road. And my important aspect of making this documentary was to get down. I'm from the Gulf Coast, and I wanted to get down and get around people to understand how the story truly unfolded, because, you know, people are much easier to react to, you know, to one of their kind than to the news camera a lot of the time. So you start to learn, and people, you know, while you're on the road, the story developed. We had all these different ideas of which way to go, but really in the end, we let the people tell the story. And the one consistent thing was from local to state, the federal government to employee to fishermen, is that the government and BP together were screwing everything up. And when you hear that from consistently from people over and over again, plus you got Harper on the back end here doing all the research, pulling, and as we're going along, talking to politicians, pulling all these old, Federal Oil and Gas Royalty Management Act, and pulling all these old MMS files, and it's just amazing that this is habitual backdoor money, changing hands just went unseen, and it still continues to this day. And that,
Harper, when I early on, I think it was probably the first week that this catastrophe took place, and they killed 11 people, and they completely destroyed an entire ecosystem that we're still suffering with. There's no question. But I came out and I followed the money to Dick Cheney in the mineral management. Was I right about that? In other words, I got a lot of criticism about that because I said, look, if you look what happened, you had Dick Cheney and the Bush administration meet privately behind closed doors as early as 2001 with the industry. And they told the industry then that we're going to give you all the breaks. You don't have to worry about regulations. We're going to be off your back. And there's going to be this revolving door between regulatory and the oil industry. That literally is what Dick Cheney told the industry. Did I get that right when I was?
Something. Look what happened right after that meeting. Right after that meeting with Cheney, the natural gas got deregulated. So did the coal mining got some deregulated. All of the energy companies got deregulated, and look what happened: fracking. The Last Mountain, the documentary about coal mining, and then the BP oil spill. They all happened after, consequently, that meeting. And this deregulation with Cheney really started back with Reagan.
And what does he do along with James Watts?
Well, he brings on James Watt, which then James Watt, is the biggest person against the environment possible that you can imagine. And their main goal was to create this illusion that we could produce more oil than anybody else. So we're just going to deregulate everything, open everything up, and we're just going to drill. And then they even drilled outside of natural reserves. They were known for setting up oil rigs all on the outside of natural reserve and slant drilling right in under natural reserve.
Yeah, in other words, drilling sideways into the national reserve and sucking the oil out. What James Watt started is the same agency that was sniffing coke, making deals behind doors, taking bribes, having these incredible sex parties. This is what James Watt started. Did I get that right?
Yes, the MMS comes, he creates the MMS, and the MMS basically allows them to put people in oversight to watch over these oil rigs. And then what these people do is they all become buddies. They all live down here together, and they go to parties, and they do all kinds of things. And then you come up with this report from the Inspector General under this time when, the guy shows up and buys coke from one of the oil rig employees and then starts doing blow all over the toaster, and he does it all the time. Then he tells her, he's like, hey, I'm going to give you a raise if you sleep with me or give me, oral sex. That's like written in the report.
The interesting thing is the Bush administration knew about this for years, but they figured, look, that's okay. Let's keep this department dysfunctional. The more they're coked up, the more more parties they're having over there, diddling each other, then the better we're going to be because nobody's paying attention. The Bush administration actually got memo after memo telling them this is what's happening with this department. But that was good for them, wasn't it? That's something they wanted to accomplish. You took a left off last life lane. Just